All right, here's another sign that the legacy media is broken. The New York Times has won a Pulitzer Prize for their coronavirus pandemic coverage. This is the same organization that accused Senator Tom Cotton of spreading a fringe conspiracy theory for talking about the Wuhan lab leak theory last year. They also praised New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's pandemic response, calling him the politician of the moment for one of the breakout stars. They also called him one of the breakout stars of our national COVID crisis. Well, we recently sat down with Donald Trump Jr. to talk about the trouble with the legacy media and the double standards prevalent in today's coverage of the Bidens compared to the Trumps. Trump Jr. also talked about the double standard being far too common on social media platforms as well. Don, it's amazing that almost every single day there's some example from the media of a story they reported last year one way, and then this year, magically, that story is completely turned around. We're talking about hydroxychloroquine. We're talking about Lafayette Square and the photo op with your father. Does it ever cease to amaze you at how wrong and how often the media is wrong on these stories?
No, because I've been watching. It's absolutely insane. I remember when you were evil and spreading conspiracy theories when you asked, hey, do you think maybe the virus spread from the lab in Wuhan that studies said virus? Oh my God, there's no way that could have happened. It must have come from a bat that someone was eating, not the lab that studies these things. It was always the most plausible argument. It was always the most logical response and answer. But because that would make China look bad, that would help Donald Trump. So anything and everything they can do. Imagine I had, let's call it the Hunter Biden laptop. Imagine I had the texts that have just come out saying the very racist stuff that Hunter Biden was saying. It would be non-stop news coverage to try to hurt myself and my family. The Bidens, they get a total pass. We've seen it. You're right. Hydroxychloroquine, that could have saved millions. Look at what Fauci has done with the mask. They'll do whatever they can to protect him from those emails. And an attack on Anthony Fauci is an attack on science. That's like saying today that an attack on Bill Cosby is an attack on comedy. It's absolutely ridiculous and insane, but that's how these guys function. There is no more media. They're not reporting the news. They're reporting whatever it takes to create and effectuate their political objective. And it's absolutely disgusting, and we have to wake people up to it, because if, you know, there are big percentages now of Biden voters. Oh, wow, had I known about this, I would have never voted for this guy. Like, I wrote a book on it last year. This information was readily available, but between the media and big tech, they did what they could to suppress it, to make sure that no one saw the truth. And now we're seeing it. We're seeing it in the Middle East. We're seeing it on our border. We are seeing it with our energy independence going down the tube. We're seeing it with commodity and energy pricing going through the roof. We told you so. It was all there. They just tried to hide it from you so they could get what they wanted. And that is seemingly the destruction of America, because they're doing a phenomenal job at that.
You know, we've actually seen some of these clips. I know you shared some of them on social media of these Biden voters sharing their regrets about voting for President Biden. And we do see, I think, a lot of people waking up to the realities of this administration. Do you think that's a harbinger of what we'll see in 2022? Do you think there'll be like a red wave reaction to what we've seen just in the 6 months?
Well, there certainly should be. But again, what they're doing is they're able to sort of deflect. They try to, you know, let's look at this other shiny object. Let's talk about something unrelated so that the average person doesn't see it. So, you know, for you and I, we sit there, we consume this stuff all day long. It's part of my life at this point. You know, the average hardworking American, you know, they're consuming a couple of minutes of news a day. They assume they can trust the reporter on TV. That's a bad assumption. That is where you're going to be misled. And so I don't think as many people will realize it as should realize it, because they're going to continue to do this. Social media, mainstream media, they are literally the marketing arm of the leftist and the Democrat Party, which has gone full Marxist. They're okay suppressing the truth. They're okay making up nonsense. They're okay running with things that couldn't possibly be accurate just because they can get their little temporary win and try to hold a cloud over Donald Trump or any other conservative's head. They've been doing it with reckless abandon, and that's why we have to get out there. Everyone has to be vocal. If we all band together in this, they can't cancel all of us. But if one person's the only guy that has the guts to be out there doing it, they can do a pretty good job of suppressing that message, and they will do it, as we've seen.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.